Hey developers, today we are looking at spinners and how to get that working with Vue.js. I'm going to show you guys some best practices and how to get that working really quickly. Hey, and if you don't know, my name is Eric. I'm a full stack software developer. I'm also the author of Vue.js in Action. I'm also author of a couple of other things. And I'm a big fan of Vue.js, JavaScript. If you guys are into React, Angular, if you guys are into that stuff, make sure you click that subscribe button. Click that little bell button. That'll help me all out. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, and one more thing before we get too far. Let me switch it over. Okay, so this is a course I'm putting together. It's called Vue 360. I'm really excited about this. I've ran this course once. It did awesome. I had a really amazing time. We had some really great people in the course. I'm running it again very soon, and I want to help you guys out. This course it's really for intermediate Vue developers. We actually do cover some basics, so if you're a beginner to Vue, that is great, but we're actually going to ramp up to some intermediate and advanced topics, and I want to share this with you guys because it's a really fun class. It's very interactive. We're going to be going and doing 5 different projects from start to finish. We're going to basically learn everything you need to know in Vue, and also Vue 3, which is really cool. So as a special listener and watcher of my YouTube channel, I want to give you guys a special offer here. If you go to vuecourse.tech, I'll have a link in the description below. You can actually sign up for my mailing list, and I'm going to select one person to get the course for absolutely for free. So all you need to do is click in the link in the description, put your email address in, and I will be selecting one person soon as the course comes out, which I'll be re-releasing it, reopening it up very, very soon. So make sure you go to vuecourse.tech, put your email address in, and yeah, you may win. In fact, if I get over 200 people, 200 people signing up in the next few days, I will add a second winner. So there'll be 2 people who will get this course for free. It's really interactive. I'm really excited about it. So go to vuecourse.tech. All right, so here is my app here. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of ways of creating spinners inside Vue.js, and then we're going to actually code one from scratch. So first, this is a problem that is already solved. Of course, many people have created spinners. So I want to show you a couple of resources to get started. So if you don't want to bother coding yourself, if you go to this awesome Vue, which is this GitHub repo that has tons of information on Vue, if you go to the loaders or spinner section, you could see that there's tons out there you can just download and try out. I've heard good things about Epic spinners. I've actually heard good things about Vue Progress Bar, but you can basically download any of these. Like for example, Epic spinners. If you click on it, it'll go to the GitHub repo. It shows you 20 different spinners that you can add to your project. You just do an npm install. Usually there's some obviously a component that you have to add, a little bit of setup, but then you have all these different props that you can send to it. And this has all these different types of spinners. So if you want to get up and running quickly, you can stop the video right now and just download this and try it out. But I think you guys are here to actually learn how to do it yourselves. So that's good. So I would definitely take a look at some of these spinners, try them out, see if any of them you like. Another thing to keep in mind here, let me close my inbox, is this pure CSS loaders. So this is a website where you can kind of download the CSS and then put it right inside your project. So I'm going to use this to actually grab some of the CSS. That way we don't have to kind of walk through that CSS part. I think this just be a little bit easier and a little bit quicker. Cool. And so I have went ahead and created an empty app. All it says is hello. And so I deleted out some of the hello world component. I got rid of the navigation bar. I just want to start off really simple. So to start, obviously, if you're brand new to Vue, you have to do a Vue create and then the name of it. And then you can do change directories to that folder and npm run serve, and you will have an app running. So this is basically that. So what I want to do is I want to create a new component. So I'm going to call it spinner.vue. And the spinner.vue is essentially where we're going to create our spinner app. And we want to have, by the way, I'm using some extensions in Vue to make these a little bit easier. So if you look here, Vue extensions, I have Vtor installed. And then I have Sarah Drasner's Vue snippets installed, which allows me just to type VBase in and hit tab, and then it auto completes everything for me. And of course I'm using Visual Studio Code. So I just want to make sure to get that out of the way in case you guys are wondering how I did that. So I just typed VBase since I have that extension installed, and it brought this up. Now I want to go to the spinners, and here's all the different types of spinners. So I'm going to do a heart one. So I'm going to look at the source, and first I'm going to just grab the CSS or the HTML. So that's the HTML part, and now I can grab the CSS. Okay, so we can kind of take a look what's happening here. We have this display inline block. We have this LDS heart. It has a width of 80, height of 80, rotates, and then it's 32. Like the background is white. It has these divs before and after where it's like absolutely positioning everything. It looks like it's a white heart. So I want to kind of change that color. So I'm going to make it just for this, I'm going to make it a black heart. Just to see if we can get it to show up. Cool. So now we have the spinner view. Let's see if we can just get it to show up in our home component. So we don't have anything in here. So I'm going to import at components / make sure I put in quotes at slash components / spinner.view, and make sure then I declare it in here, which I called it spinner import spinner. I'm doing this too fast, I'm making mistakes. There we go. Spinner. Then all I have is a hello here. So I'll do this. Hello world. And then in our home view, we'll see if the spinner just loads up. So I'm going to just do spinner. Cool. So now it should show up. Let's take a look. All right, here is a big heart just pulsating and bouncing. It's because that's our loading. Obviously, this is fun, but we really want to, I think what we want to do here is add, like, the whole background should turn a different color, maybe like a gray, be a little transparent, and then we should be able to turn that on and off throughout the app. I think that's more likely what we want with our spinner, because we don't want people to be clicking around and doing things. So to do that, I'm going to create another element here. So I'm going to create, let's see here, probably I'm going to create a div right here and make it class equals test. Well, we'll call it spin. And you know what? Let's go back to the spinner first. I'm kind of going back and forth here. I'm trying to think. All right, let's do class here equals spin. And then we're going to add a new spin class. And I just want to do a few things. First, I'm going to add it index equals -10. And width, let's do 100%, height 100%. We might have to change this. Background color equals RGBA. That's the alpha channel. So we're going to do basically black, but I'm going to make it 0.2. And I'll position fixed in it. And then I'm going to add another class around this. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll do like this. And this one will be class ring. And this ring one, I'm going to do position absolute and top 50%. So I kind of want to just put this right in the middle. 50%. Margin, let's see here, 0 auto. I don't know, we'll just do height 100%. Okay, let's see what happens there. All right, so now we have hello world at the top. We have a blinking heart. So one thing we're kind of noticing here is that since the spinner is in this component So since we're putting in the home component, this is fine if we're actually trying to add a loading page to our home component. But if we're trying to add a loading page to the whole screen, then we're going to have a problem having it just in this home component. So let's move this spinner to one parent out to the app view. So I'm going to kind of just comment this out for now. Spinner. Go back to where we had before. And I'm going to the app view. And let's see here. What happens if we, in this app view here, let's see here. Yeah, in this app view, I want to go ahead and add the spinner probably right after app. So you can see here, we actually don't have a script tag. So we're going to add the script tag. And once again, I hit tab here because I have the snippets installed and it pretty much did everything for me. So I don't have to do that. And now I want to add the components. And components is an object, which we're going to have to import in. Let's import in spinner. Actually, if we did this the smart way, we can just copy and paste here. I'm just going to go ahead and hide the sidebar. Let's see here, spinner. It was in the home. Excuse me. I'm going to just copy and paste it here. Home. And we're going to do this. Okay. Okay, there's our spinner. And then we're just going to add spinner here. Okay. So now it's covering the whole thing, except we do have this little margin at the top. Let's see here. Okay, I think I found it. So I have this h2 tag here. So if I'm going to do style scoped here, let's see if we do this h2 tag. Wonder if I put margin 0. Margin 0. Oops, we have language stylus. Let me try that again. Okay, there we go. So the h2 tag gets a margin in it. Cool. So now we have this beating heart, and now it's inside the app view, and now it's filling up the whole screen, which is good. I don't know. Let's go back here to our spinner. No, let's see. Make it 0.1. Now it's a little bit lighter. So let's see if we can have a button we press that loads the spinner. So I want to add in here some props. And I'm just going to have one called start. I'm going to put a VIF here. VIF start. And now if I go back to home, oops, in my app view, I can pass in start. Actually pass in true. So there it goes. But I want to create a button to turn it on or off. So I'm just going to create a button here. Turn on spinner. Well, let's say toggle spinner. Toggle spinner. And then I'm going to put a click handler on here. And I'm going to go ahead and add a data object. And I'm going to go like this. And by the way, I don't know if you guys, how you guys prefer how to do the data object. I usually just like to return stuff, but I know a lot of people are doing it this way. I don't know. Same thing. But we're going to have something called spin, and we'll have that as false. False. And then this click handler will do, it'll just do spin equals not spin. So it'll turn it on or off. And I'm going to bind it to start here, so it'll be spin. Cool. So this will be true or false when I press it. And I guess I could do one other thing here. I'm gonna do its app display flex, justify content, center, align items, center. Cool, and I'll add a margin top of 20 pixels. Okay, and then I'll get rid of this hello world. Let's see here, home. It doesn't matter. So now I see it. Let me refresh it. Okay, well, how about we add this app? Let's, if we go back into the app view, I wonder if I need to do a height here, 100%, or 100 VH. Okay, so now we have full on spinner here, but we do have now, once again, we have a problem with the top. Oops, since we have the margin top here, I'll just get rid of that. All right, cool. So now our spinner, our toggle spinner is working as I expected. I wonder if I just do, what if I do this? Oops, save it. Oh, probably want line item center. All right, so this is good. You see here, I'm toggling it off and on. I actually made the button higher on the Z index so I can hit it again. Otherwise, it would be obscured. But if I go back to home and I just add a span with some lorem in it, you can see here, hit toggle spinner. It's still, it's over all this. So this is being replaced by it. Okay, so obviously having a button in the app component isn't perfect. So what happens if we wanted to have this somewhere else in our app? So I'm going to delete this button component here. And we're going to put it in the home component. So now we don't have any buttons here. But if we have the home component, let's add a button here. So we're going to have it called Click Me. And we're just going to save it for now. So now we have a button Click Me. Obviously it doesn't do anything. But what happens if we want to pass somehow this spin into our Click Me? Now, if you remember from our previous videos, I actually told you about one way you can inject things into child components, even deeply nested child components, without having to use props or vuex or anything like that. And if you remember, that's called provide and inject. So I think this would be a perfect circumstance that we want to use provide and inject, because we are not going to have a button on our app component, our parent component. We're going to have buttons all over the place. We might have Axios. We might have an Axios call to a backend server, and then we need to go ahead and trigger this loading page so this loader comes up correctly. So we can leave the spinner on the app component, but now we want to kind of control it from other components outside the app component. So the easiest way to do that, one way, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinions, leave a comment below if you have a different idea, is we're going to use provide. And provide, now I believe, I'm going to check in here, provide is in a object, or it's a method, it's basically a function here, and then it returns back values that can be used elsewhere in the app. So let me show you one thing. This is a common mistake when using provide and inject, is let's say I wanted to create called, my spinner, and I'm going to have it do this dot spin. You're thinking, okay, cool, my spinner, and I'll have access to this dot spin so I can control it elsewhere in the app. So if I go to the home component, to add in, to actually access our provide, we use inject, and we just put the name of it here. So we called it my spin, right? My spinner, my spinner. And we make sure to put a comma here. But now, look here, if I add this click handler here to click, let's say here, my spinner equals my spinner, so basically a toggle. And we look at the console, and we press, here we'll refresh it, no errors. If I click me, we get this warning. Avoid mutating an injected value directly, since the changes will be overwritten when the provided component re-renders. Injection being mutated my spinner. So you'll see right now, like, it doesn't work because this provide and inject doesn't work that way. So if we go back to our app view, there's a way to get past this and to make our provide and inject reactive. So to make it provide and reject reactive, we basically have to make this an object. So instead of spin equal false, I'm going to make it an object. And so it's going to have a val, and I'm just going to have it equal false. And then I'm going to still spend this dot spin, but now, just to see if this works, this spinner, instead of spin right here, I'll put spin.val. So that'll be true or false. And now in our home component, we have mySpinner, but we really want to do mySpinner.val, and mySpinner.val. So let's see if it works now. Refresh it. Cool, so here's our spinner. So now our spinner works. It's graying out the whole screen every time we press it, and it's adding it. So you can see we definitely could add this in anywhere, because once we have this inject in here in this mySpinner, we can then grab it from anywhere inside our component here and do whatever we want inside of it. Cool. Let's just go back to the spinner one more time, and let's just play around with this. What does it look like for the alpha? Okay, so that looks more like what you might see, and you know, this color is pretty ugly. So let's say we added green. What if we made it green? Green. Let's see. Okay, that looks a little nicer. The green, I don't know. It's up to you guys, what you guys think. All right, I think that's gonna be it. This is a really simple example of creating spinner. All we're using is a prop to start or stop it. You can definitely add more props. I could have like text. Maybe I want text underneath the actual spinner or heart. We can also, you know, just do a whole bunch of things we wanted to add in. But we're gonna leave it here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks.